Okay. All right. So call the meeting to order, and if people would join us in the pledge.
We need our flag.
Where's our flag?
It is right here.
All right. Ready. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
the
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thanks. All right. So, Nick, it's time for your little spiel about how people can contact us with comments.
Yeah, of course. If you'd like to make a public comment for the meeting, there's a few different ways you could do it. Probably the easiest way for people joining via computer, laptop, whatever, would be to use the chat feature. You send your message in, please use your name and address along with that, and we can read the comment into record. Option number 2 is that you could send a text message to 603-933-0973. I will put that number in the chat feature in a moment. The third way is that you could always raise your hand via Zoom, and you can do that in the participant window, or if you're on a phone, you could push *9. What that's going to do is it's going to give me a little signal that somebody's got their hand raised, and we can acknowledge you that way.
All right. Great. And has anyone sent anything yet?
Not so far. Not seeing any hands raised. Not seeing any text messages so far, and no chat messages. I guess just one other note on public comments is we do have 2 public comment sections. We have the first one to kind of open the meeting. We also do have a second one at the end of the meeting. So for whatever reason, if you partway through the meeting want to make a comment, there is a second section in which you can do that.
All right. Thanks. So are there any changes to the agenda? All right, I think that's a good response time. No one said anything, so I'm going with no. Okay, so it's time for the superintendent's report. So if the blue R could speak to us.
I'd like to apologize for the camera not working for some reason right now. It was working about 10 minutes ago, but okay, that's how it goes. So we've continued to have some very busy weeks. Certainly our teachers and our support staff are continue to be working hard with the online teaching, and I know our families are working hard as well on keeping things going at home as well, and it cannot be easy. We've really, the last 2 weeks have been comprised of just a variety of interviews, of committee meetings, of committee meetings of a variety of nature, of meetings that we're going to be talking about later on tonight with some suggestions and some proposals for the board, but also meetings such as facilities meetings and policy meetings to keep the work going. So just a lot of conversation that has to take place to make sure that we get everything correct and that we keep on moving forward and not remain status quo. That's what I would kind of summarize the last couple of weeks as. We have several RFPs, requests for proposals that are either in the works right now that will be going out this week. A couple of them going out this week, some maybe one next week as well, having to do with phones within our school, as well as some RFPs about the grounds and also about some other architectural work. So that's coming in the future. A lot of work that's being done on that. Thank you to the board members who have done the bulk of some of that work with a couple of them, and also to Mike Cotton for the technology RFP that he's been working on. Other plans that are being worked on, the technology plan is continuing to be worked on, as well as some other areas that we have been wanting to have done for quite some time, creating a data dashboard for our district. And so Leslie McLean, who's the new administrative assistant, she replaced Vivian, is currently working on those items and more. So a lot of exciting things happening and moving still behind the scenes. The last thing I wanted to highlight was something I had just mentioned, is that the weeks have been, there have been many interviews. So we've been interviewing for probably about 8 or so positions. The library specialists, science teachers, elementary teachers, special ed teachers, school psychologists, assistant principal, safety coordinator. And so some of those are still going on as they have multiple layers to them. Last Thursday, I spent a good 6 hours with a couple candidates for one of those positions, and they're preparing some presentations to the committee to continue on with that safety committee work that we're trying to do, the safety coordinator interviews. Some of our individuals that were put forward to me and I interviewed from search committees, they're on the agenda for tonight. So you see that some of them did, and then there were a couple who did not choose to come along, and so we'll continue on with those processes. And I suspect that will take another 2 to 3 weeks to be able to get all those positions filled.
Okay. So Ruben, since I can't see you, I'm assuming that you're done.
Yeah, I stopped. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
Long pause.
Long pauses. Long
Okay.
pauses.
All right. So also, Charlie, your camera is off. So I'm just going to check in and see if there's any questions that anyone has for Ruben. Laurel, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Alicia? Heidi?
No.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
fine. A shake works.
I know. I was trying to, I couldn't do it fast enough.
Patty?
All set.
Okay. And Charlie?
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, and John?
We seem to have lost John.
He's there. He's just
Is he-
muted.
Yeah, he needs to be unmuted.
All right.
Is that better? Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
So no questions for Ruben.
Yeah, now we can. Okay. All right, great. All right, thanks very much. Thank you, Ruben. Is our student on yet?
Yes.
I took a glance, but I didn't see him.
Yep.
Both are on.
They are. Oh, great.
So I'll
Okay.
add them in right now. All right, so both student reps should be able to speak at this point.
All right, great. Hi there. So, do you have something you'd like to share with us today?
Nothing really that on my end, at least.
All right.
Antonio?
So, I have a question. But I know that there was a Google meeting around thinking about graduation.
We basically got nothing done.
Okay. So do you want to at least talk about maybe some of the ideas that were batted around?
None of the ideas we said would work.
Oh, did they?
According to law, we are not allowed to have gatherings of over 10 people.
Right.
And
Okay.
Until they change that, we can't do anything that they said during the meeting.
Okay. All right. I know that they had said that students had said that they would prefer being waiting
We're gonna wait until like August.
in hopes that.
Something does change.
Right. Okay.
I'm supposed to have a Google form done by soon to send out about graduation, but life.
Is it getting in the way?
It very much is getting in the way.
Okay. Well,
If I could
Good luck.
chime in, I believe that they have another meeting this coming Wednesday. Is that correct?
I think so.
I mean, we should.
There's one scheduled that I'm aware of on the calendar. I think there were 45 individuals to that last one. Students, some parents. I was there for a bit of time as well, listened to some of the comments. So I think that they had some ideas. I think your summary was great. But they are meeting again this coming week.
Right. Okay. Great. Nothing else then?
Can I ask a question?
Of course. That's where I'm going next. I just was checking with them.
Good. So, Patrick, I'm just wondering, you must be in the same position as so many people with the restrictions still in place, but at your, I don't know if maybe at your upcoming meetings, your next meeting, can you work towards a what if situation where you look at what is probably going to happen in terms of the restrictions being released or eased up gradually, and come up with scenarios based on what's expected to happen, even though you don't know they'll happen?
That's probably what we're supposed to be doing, but that's not what we're doing. I'd love to get something done, but we're not very good at that.
Well, working with people can be difficult. Ask Ruben. He has to go.
They won't even let me show my face.
Hey, I feel that.
Yep.
Okay. So let me
Actually,
just,
Marcia, I had a
What?
couple other items that I had on my bullet points that I didn't get to. They were on my far corner of the page. Would it be
I
okay
did
if I
ask
said
you.
those?
I did ask you.
I know
Well,
you
let me
did.
see if anyone else has anything for Patrick or
For
Antonio. So Laurel, anything?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, Alicia, Heidi,
No.
Patty.
Hang in there.
All right, Charlie.
Patty stole my words.
All right, so we're good with that. Thanks, guys. And Ruben, back to you.
Yeah, just a couple of items. So when I was talking about the fact that our staff and teachers and support staff are working really hard for our students and families, it's we can't really say it enough, but it is Staff Appreciation Week. And so I just wanted to mention that we really do appreciate our staff here. We are top notch here at JR, and so proud to be working with everyone that's on our team. As for other things that are kind of in the news, I just wanted to highlight that one of our seniors, Trevor Pierce, he's been in an internship with the Monadnock Ledger, and he had another article in the paper this past time. I think it had to do with about sports, whereas he had one about remote learning before. So it's a really nice read. I encourage people to be able to check that out. It's really exciting to see our students out there, even during this time when you can't really see any of them.
Mhm.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else on any of that? Are we ready to move on? Okay, here we go. All right, so it's consent agenda.
I would like to pull the public meeting minutes of April 20.
Okay. Just the public though, right?
Just public.
Okay. Any, sorry,
If
Pat.
that's it, I move we accept the consent agenda as modified.
Okay. So
Second.
Thank you, Patty. So we're going to, we have a first and a second on the consent agenda, pulling the public meetings only. So I'm going to do a roll call vote. Laurel,
Aye.
Alicia? Oh, you're muted. Okay.
She shouldn't be muted.
She shouldn't be. I can't hear her though. Can anyone else hear her?
No.
No. Okay, it's not just me, but I saw your words. I read your lips. Okay, Heidi.
Aye.
Thank you. Patty.
Aye.
Thank you. John
Aye.
and Charlie
Yes.
and myself. Aye. All right. So that passes 7-0-0. And now back to the April 20th public.
Yes. So, under the superintendent's report, second paragraph, 1, 2, third sentence, I think it should read, the major challenge was that the start of school.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rather, okay. And then there was discussion about, in the calendar regarding potentially using remote learning for the September election day in lieu of a no school day. That's not reflected in the meeting minutes. And there was also a request for the superintendent to form an ad hoc committee with the board chair to discuss and investigate the recommendation for the end of school year and to report back to the board for this meeting. And that's not reflected in the meeting minutes either.
Yeah, so I'll check, both of those checked out because you had emailed me about it earlier. I checked back with my meeting minutes, my notes, and I just missed a couple sentences in there. So those will be added back in.
I was gonna say the ad hoc committee is there, but it's not to the detail that you had said.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I missed it then.
It's number 10, the very last line.
Okay, okay, I did miss it, okay.
But not reporting back to this meeting. It just says formed.
I can add in all those points.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
I move we approve the meeting, public meeting minutes of April 20 as amended.
Second.
Second.
Okay, I think John was the first person to call second on that. So all those in favor, let's see, starting with Laurel.
Aye.
Alicia. Okay. Heidi.
Aye.
Thank you. And Patty.
Aye.
And John.
Aye.
And Charlie.
Yes.
And I say aye. Passes 7-0-0. Thank you. All right. So we're down to item 7 now. Discussion. There's 2 things there. First one is the school district calendar. So that first, there was an original proposal to the calendar. There was some feedback about that. Then we had seen it again. We asked for, if anyone has more feedback or anything. And so today I think we're ready to vote on it. So if I could have a motion, then we can take any other discussion items about it and we can vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2020-2021 district calendar.
Okay, thank you, Heidi.
And I'll second that.
Thank you, John.
And
And I'm going to do a roll call and then make sure everyone's okay, and then it'll be on the table, okay?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I got it.
Okay. So Laurel,
I'm fine.
Alicia, Heidi,
Aye.
Patty.
Aye.
Are we
John.
voting or discussing?
This is for discussion.
Okay.
John?
So for discussion, could you just briefly summarize again the start and end dates there for us, just for the audiences?
Yeah, I'll put it up in a sec for everybody.
Yeah, you're gonna put it up?
Yep.
With your shared screen? Okay.
All right, so it's kind of small. It's a little difficult to read, but
So the new teacher workshops would begin August 17th. First day of school would be the 25th of August.
okay, good.
Last day would be projected as June 10th. This is the same calendar that was presented at the last meeting.
Right.
Right. Well, thank you for going through that and just reminding us of those dates. Thank you.
Okay, so Charlie? We were on.
Yeah,
Pardon?
my suggestions still stand. They don't have anything, they don't change the calendar, but there were some things like early release and some of the days using them for distance learning. So it didn't change the calendar, it just changed how those particular days were used, that's all.
Okay. Ruben, do you have some thing you'd like to talk about here?
Well, I just think we ran it through, all the stakeholders, and this is where it seems to, for the most part, the majority, this lines up with the majority. Let's put it that way. And so I think it's a good way of going about things. I did have several emails to the, I'd say several by about half a dozen emails asking us not to start as early as what it is. So, we certainly looked at that. At the same time, we have, the emails of people saying, please let's not go further into June. And so in listening to all groups and discussing with the teachers associations and so forth, and also, our internal conversations and our conversations and feedback at board meetings, I think this is the calendar that best reflects all of that. I do think that the conversations around using remote learning at different times, like for, I guess you could say the idea of blizzard bags on snow days or to use on other days, I think that those conversations, we need to definitely have a lot of conversation internally with the teaching staff and to make those decisions collaboratively so that we're the most successful we can possibly be. And no, we have time to make those decisions. We don't have to make those decisions right now.
All right, so we've got.
But we did have a lot of feedback. I would say the most feedback that I got had nothing to do with the calendar from the community in the emails. It was about, hey, why don't we use this remote learning to benefit us through the course of the year sometimes. So that was it kind of echoed what Charlie stated about that.
Okay. All right, so is there any other discussion, or are we ready to accept this as our proposal as our calendar for next year?
I'd like to move we accept it.
I'm sorry, may I ask a question? When are the early release days?
They're the E's.
Yeah, I'm looking for them.
There's one in October.
Oh, okay.
It would be October
there's one in
7th.
April. Okay.
And then one in January.
So it's just 3 discrete days?
3.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any others? Okay, so Charlie, I think you were in the middle.
Yes, I want to make a motion to approve the 2021 school district calendar as presented.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Second?
Second?
Thank you, John. So the Charlie moved to accept the calendar as proposed. All those in favor, starting with Laurel.
Aye.
Alicia? Okay. Heidi?
Aye.
Thank you. Patty?
Aye.
Thank you. John?
Aye.
Thank you, John. And Charlie?
Yes.
And I say aye as well. All right, thank you, everyone. School calendar as proposed has been accepted. All right, so end of the year, last day of school. So
Is there any
there-
documentation or a report from the committee?
Not a written report.
no. So Ruben, do you want to talk to that? About
Sure, I can
our
talk to that.
process and then
Sure.
the result?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had two parents on the committee. The parents represented both Jaffrey and Ringe, and we're also well involved in the parent associations for the schools. We had the representation from JREA, the Teachers Association, from JRSSA, which is the Support Staff Association, myself. We had an assistant principal representing the administration, and also Marcia. Marcia did a fine job with facilitating the entire conversation. We met twice. Started off with just kind of laying out all the details and all the ideas around the end of school. What were people's thoughts on the end of school? What were all the possibilities? What were people hearing? What was, based upon their constituencies and so forth. And we came back, we left that first meeting saying, all right, do some small polling of your groups to find out kind of where people's mindsets are for this last day. Both Sheila Nichols, the president of the association, and I agreed on the number of days at 166. If we go to hours, and we understand that we had some 2-hour delays in there as well, kind of gets us down to that typical 165 day mark, but 166 school days, hours wise, around the same as 165, which works. So we both came and said that the earliest that we could get out would be May 29th, based upon the days we had for snow days and also the makeup days and so forth that we had. And then of course we also knew that the other extreme was that the board had already made the motion to not go past the 12th of June for the student days. So that was kind of the window, the couple-week window that we had to make decisions. So people went back to, made some phone calls. Maybe there was some surveying going on. I know that they came back, all groups came back with a good deal of information. The information was mostly unanimous and based upon the situations that we're in, the work that our teachers and support staff have been involved in, the work that our parents have had to put forth within this school effort as well, and within just the situation, even regardless of school. And the committee is putting forth as the last day of students' educational school for 2019-20, so the last school day of new 2019-20 as May 29th. And so that's the recommendation from the ad hoc committee.
Okay, so the recommendation from the ad hoc committee is the last day for students to be May 29th. So do we want to have some discussion around that, or?
Well, I'll make the motion that we make the last day of school for students May 29th, and then if I get a second, I can do a discussion.
Thanks, Charlie.
Second.
Thank you, Patty. So, discussion on this.
So I have, I guess, two, I don't know if concerns is the right word, but some preliminary information from the committee was that there are some students that have never attended a remote class, and I wonder if that number is quantified and what we are doing to engage those students. And my second concern is stems from the message from Principal Blanchard regarding the need to do your work in order to graduate. And my question is, are we going to be sure that everyone's going to be there by May 29? That needs to be.
Okay, thank you, Laurel. Other thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I guess I just said, in relation to Laurel's question, this is all a new endeavor for everybody. And I suppose that gathering that data is challenging, particularly trying to figure out which of the students who haven't been attending. Ruben, I know you've had your hands full. You've told us some of the things you're doing. What do you think the chances are for, getting an analysis like what Laurel's asking?
I mean, we're taking attendance.
Well, I think
right?
that we have.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we're taking attendance. We have procedures, and so I've already started to ask the administration to put together some data for us to look at a later time. Certainly not available tonight. In the context of some of the conversations about students not attending, some of those were granted. It's there's some in every area. Some of the context was also down in like preschool and kindergarten, where by law it's not necessarily required. You got really young kids and parents. You can understand why some of those parents might not might have said, hey, the school year is over because of the work that they have to do with getting online with or doing some of the work that is sent home and so forth. We don't know all the reasons. Certainly what I do know is that we have had quite a robust system of contacting families and every single week and making contact with multiple people reaching out. We have had some home visits, and really our staff has done everything that they have possibly been able to. We have had some difficult situation that we're in with regards to truancy. So that's a bigger conversation. But I know that our administration has sent out letters to families saying, please, if those individuals have been involved, please partner with us. So that's where we're at.
And
I was probably going in and out is what I understand. Is there anything you didn't hear specifically?
I think I understand the gist of your response, and I guess knowing which students are involved would certainly inform any work that would happen over the summer. And then,
I think that's very true. Absolutely.
And then in terms of seniors, I mean, I took Mr. Blanchard's letter very seriously, and I just want to be assured that everyone who can graduate, that we're on track to have our seniors graduate.
Yeah.
I would think, our students are meeting with their advisors regularly, so there should be a good sense of who is in potential jeopardy of not having their work done. So I would hope someone, the advisors are on top of all of that.
I appreciate the time that the task force put into analyzing this, and I feel as though because it was a number of people from different stakeholder groups, that they probably raised a bunch of different questions that came up that probably are pretty natural questions to have. And while we might not have all the answers, I think the administration has rose to this occasion, and to close out school 2 weeks. You know, I think that's important that we consider all of the ramifications, but I feel as though they probably put together the best proposal that they could.
All right, thank you, Patty.
And Marcia, I'm just seeing some comments. I wonder if we want to address them now.
Right, I mean, I know that there's some have, but I haven't seen them and I'm not sure how to access them.
Oh, there's a couple about, if you go down to chat, you'll see them, but about finals taking place.
We have two
Yes, so
questions.
I can just answer them real fast if you would like to. The conversation right now about finals is certainly not over yet, and I can't speak one way or another, but I will make sure that the administration at the high school puts out communication about finals. I don't believe that finals are going to be, as they are typically, are going to be the approach that we're going to take. Did you hear me?
It
No.
warped. No.
It warped again?
Yes.
So just kind of put your thumb up if you can't hear me through this, okay? So as for finals, the final decision has not been made officially, but I do believe that the administration at the high school and middle school are going to send out communication to that end. I know they started that conversation, and finals, as they typically are, will not likely take place. As for food service, that is a concern that we've had. Actually, I was on the phone today. We are working to make sure that, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to work on continuing food service through the entire month of June.
Okay.
Our food service company is working on that, and we're working on the distribution. Okay. Okay.
All right. Thanks. All right, so is there any other discussion on this? Nope. All right, then I think we need a motion to vote to accept the proposal.
I move that the last day of instruction be.
The motion was made, the motion was
that's right.
made and
Made,
seconded.
seconded, right, sorry. So it's just a vote, sorry. All right, I'm off today. Laurel.
So the motion is that the last day of instruction is May 29, is that right?
Yes,
Okay. I see aye.
thank you. Alicia.
Yes.
Thank you. Heidi.
Aye.
Thank you. John.
Aye.
Thank you. Charlie.
Yes,
Thank you. Patty.
Aye.
Thank you. And I say aye. So the motion carries 7-0-0. The last day of school is for students is the 29th of May. Thank you very much. And I'll just say, you know, being on that committee, yeah, I appreciated the thoughtfulness everyone put into it.
It's a lot of
Okay.
work to get done in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, number 8. Action items. We have the 2021 cafeteria services contract.
I move we accept the recommendation of the administration to extend the contract another year.
I'll second that
Thank you,
motion.
Laurel. Thank you, Alicia. So the motion is to accept the extension of the contract. So Laurel,
I say aye.
Alicia,
Yes.
Heidi,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Charlie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
and I say aye. So the motion carries 700. Thank you. And we're now up to the policy review. First reading, we have 3 policies that we're looking at. So who's talking to these tonight?
Has everyone had a chance to look them over? Does anyone have any questions? Laurel?
I have a question. The policy CM,
Yep.
So this policy, which it's been in place since 2005. Thank you for tackling it. It says that the report shall be as near to the end of the school year as possible. It's typically done, completed and published in March, though.
Which is why we struck it. We struck that part
That's got
for
a
that
line through
exact
it.
reason.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yep.
We rewrote it so that it actually made
Made
sense
sense.
with what we do.
Okay.
Great. Was there any other comments or questions on that one?
So the board chair is the only review?
So we had some conversation that the pieces of the report come to the board throughout the school year, but the final review is the board chair.
Okay. I think it'd be terrific if pieces of the report, of the annual report, come to the board for review throughout the school year. If that's going to be the process, that would be terrific.
Does that need to be stated in here? Or is that just, I'm just asking. So that it's,
Because our current annual report does not really address programs or conditions of the schools. It is a letter from each principal, from the superintendent, from the board, and a bunch of financial stuff. So I think it will be great if we work to make the report do what we say it's going to do here.
Okay, so your suggestion would be to incorporate some language that addresses a process of the pieces of the report being brought to the board's awareness throughout the school year and included in the final report.
Well, I don't think we need to incorporate it in the policy, in the body of the policy, as long as we as a body know
That's
what
the process that we follow.
and that we, I guess, hold feet to the fire to make it happen.
Yeah, that was sort of the gist of the conversation that the policy committee had as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
all right. Okay, so these are the first readings, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So my understanding is we have a second reading the next time. We're not going to vote on these at this point. We're just thinking about them, right?
That's correct.
All right, I just want to make sure, because I thought once upon a time I recalled saying, do we need any more time? But okay.
I think by policy, the policy can't be approved without 2 readings.
Policy of the policies?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I think we're now at board committee updates. So policy committee, Alicia.
So we met, obviously.
And got some work done. That's terrific.
Awesome.
It was quite challenging to update policies via Zoom. I will just say that.
Alicia did an amazing job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
So
very
yes.
much.
We met and we will be meeting again next week. We had some policies that we were waiting for a couple pieces to bring together, but that we thought were of a more urgent matter, I guess, that we're hoping to bring to the final meeting, or not the final meeting, our next board meeting at the end of May. So we'll be meeting next week to discuss those and put those on the agenda for a first reading at the end of May.
Okay, great. So I had sent out some stuff on committee, so I'm talking to everyone right now. And we had, one of the things I was looking for is getting some structure on when our regular meetings are. So I don't know if you had that discussion or not, but when
We
you
did.
meet again, okay.
We actually detailed our plan in our committee notes update minutes.
Okay, great.
So the goal for policy is to meet on Thursdays in the second full week of the month between regularly scheduled board meetings.
Okay, great.
Those
Thanks so
lines.
much. All right, finance.
Are there 3 board members on the policy committee now?
Yes.
So finance and curriculum still have not met. That needs to happen. I will just say that my availability in the evenings has not been strong lately due to just other more important matters of the school. But we do have the content for the next curriculum meeting all set, and that will be some reports from the elementary administration. And the follow-up would be that we would have the high school, middle school administration at the next one. Just talking about remote learning and so forth, but they would certainly need to have more conversations with their staff as well to make sure that we provide the most accurate of details. Finance, we just need to set that up. I mean, right now we had a finance report just a little while ago, but that needs to get on a regular schedule, whether it be quarterly or whatever. I think we had a conversation about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie. What we really talked about, I think we were talking about, maybe this was goals, but I think it actually kind of pertains to finance sometimes too. That during the summertime, meeting regularly during that time frame for finance, where we might not need to have it at, say, some other months. What was your thought around that?
Mine?
Yeah, I think it was about the goals committee. When I heard your comment to the goals committee about what you thought the time frame should be, it made me think of the finance committee.
Yes, because if you look at the work of the finance committee, there's some times when it's really important that they have some, after year end, all right, there's some times when you're probably going to want to do it monthly for a couple months. And then prior to budget, you probably want to do it the same thing. Because if you're going to do screening through, the finance committee before the budget gets to the school board, you're going to need more than one meeting to do that. So there's a couple times during the year when it'll have to be more frequent, but other than that, a quarterly meeting would seem logical.
And what we did, if you read through the board committee's BDE during policy committee, added those 2 committees to the policy.
Yeah. So at our last meeting, I believe Carrie said that we're due for a finance committee meeting and that we would be having it within the next 3 weeks. So we're due for one.
That's correct.
And Laurel, are you on that committee as well?
Yes.
All right, I missed that. Thank you. All right. Goals.
Yep. Goals met last week, and we have meeting minutes, which were draft, but Nick, those are final now. And the updates are final as well. So Nick can update the spreadsheet and we can have that for the board at the next board meeting for your review.
Great.
Yes. And then we also set a new meeting coming up, but my phone died and I can't tell you what that date is. So John and we'll be there, and John, Charlie, and Ruben and I. And we too agreed that off weeks of the board, once a month we would meet when it is appropriate. So again, we're going to do a board evaluation in June, and then which will involve all of you and your feedback, and then also set new goals July, and then start meeting quarterly from there. But there are times of the year that we meet more regularly.
Right. Great.
We also will not be changing leadership of that committee until July. So we're sort of on a school year calendar and not a board March calendar. I tried hard to have it be March, but the guys had nothing. They would not.
They're not going there, huh?
Isn't it hard to pass leadership?
And I have a feeling in July they'll just say no, they really want to do it in March. So there's that.
So Patty, I think the next date is June 23rd.
That
Is that
sounds
correct?
perfect.
3 to 4:30 is what I have anyway.
Yes, that would be awesome.
All right. Great. Facilities. Either John or Laurel?
Facilities has been extremely, I think that at our next board update, we could say facilities committee has been extremely productive. Right now, we'll say facilities committee has been working diligently. Our goal is to issue 3 RFPs in the upcoming 2 weeks for a forester, right, Ruben?
Yep,
That's not out yet, right?
it's not out yet.
Okay. Forestry services,
Drainage.
a design build RFP for athletic fields.
Woohoo.
Yeah. And an RFP for architectural services for some much needed and long delayed work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Great. And our next meeting is May 18th.
Yes.
All right. And wellness. Heidi.
Yeah, so the Wellness Committee met today. Last board meeting, I mentioned that we were looking to have a wellness week towards the end of May. And what we decided today was that we're going to gather a bunch of resources and highlight wellness, but rather than make it one more thing that perhaps is too much at this time, that we'll gather resources that are there for teachers and students and families to have access to, and if they want them, and that it's something that we'll build upon going forward and have a place on our website where we have those resources available. So we just felt after talking that it just didn't seem like the right time to kind of layer one more piece on. So, but we do want to be sure that we let everybody know that wellness is important for everyone. So that's what's happening. I'm curious about whether under policy BDE, wellness needs to be a standing committee, because as participants in the National School Lunch Program through the USDA, we have to have, our policy states that we have to have at least 4 meetings a year. So do you think it should be required under board committee, standing committee?
It's not, it is required to have a wellness committee, but I don't think it's a board committee.
That was the conversation that we had as well, because we had discussed that and arrived at that conclusion, Laurel.
Okay.
Similar to the risk, what's it called? The risk avoidance?
Joint risk.
A joint loss.
Joint loss. Yeah.
It is also a required committee, but it's not a board committee.
Right.
Got
It's a district committee that board participates, but
Right.
it's not a board committee. Direction comes from a different place. Right. Okay. So,
I was just going to say we did plan our we didn't think we would probably get another meeting in before the end of the school year. So our next meeting is planned for August 24th, so that we can hopefully get things rolling and possibly do the National Walk to School Day again, which happened at the beginning of October. So we wanted to make sure we set a meeting date so we can hit the ground running, in hopes that we are all together.
Hitting the ground running, yeah.
Exactly. So.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I just want to say that, and I'm trying to, you know, kind of get a grip on the committees, and I love that you're all being so responsive. Thank you. And also just for all the work that takes place in these committees. It's so important, and I just wanted to say thanks. Okay, so we're now up to public comments 2. Nick, you got anything for us?
I do have one thing, but I guess before I read it out, just to give people an opportunity to potentially make a comment. Again, 3 ways in which you can make a comment. You can either use the chat feature, which I will, then read your comment out loud. You can send a text message to 603-933-0973, or there is a feature in the participant window in which you can raise your hand, and then I can acknowledge you. So the one question that we do have right now, we did make an effort in our motion to say what the last day for students was. Is there any clarity on what the last day for teachers is? And is that different at all?
So Ruben, do you want to address
Sure.
that?
So, I mean, there are 2 different conversations. And so that other conversation for the last day of teachers is something that the JREA and the school board have to, work out. So that's in process.
I'm sorry, who is that? Do we read into the record who the questions are from and
Yeah,
what
we're
time they're
supposed to, yeah.
Oh yeah, I apologize. Alicia Davis was the question asker.
Sure. Well, I mean, so if that is the next step that we are working on right now. We just have to take everything step by step. So the students were first. The next one will be last day for staff for the school year. We'll be working on that, or are currently working on it.
Right. Okay, thank you.
And I don't see any hands raised. I don't have any.
It looks like we have another comment in chat that should be read into the record.
Yeah, we did get another comment as I was checking my phone. We have a comment from Sheila Nichols. She says JREA has filed an impact bargaining statement with the school district with regard to the last day of school for teachers.
Okay. And there's no other public comments?
I'll give it one more look.
One more quick look.
We seem good over here. We seem good over here. I'd say we're all good at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. Board matters? So that,
Well, either board matters or future items.
right.
A couple of things that we have talked about during the course of the year, but haven't really received a lot of information on, is the student services program, in particular the Assist Compass program, and how that is working and meshing, and with how outcomes are going. And the other is the leadership team for next year.
All right. So I guess that would be something then Ruben, I guess you and I, maybe when we sit and work on agenda, we can talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, then I guess I'm ready for a motion.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you, Heidi. Second, anyone? Thanks, Charlie.
Discussion?
No. We are done. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
You,
you.
Marcy.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.